Let me record. I cannot continue the class for so much of time. I'm not at all feeling well. Since you people have joined, I tried to continue it. Okay. Let me tell you about what is padding, what is margin, and what is border. Okay. So, for example, I have this H2 class. Okay. Correct. So, for this, let me create one unique class, class 2. Okay. And let me just copy it, save it, and let me write some CSS to it. Okay. Now, I want to apply some border. Okay. What do we use? We use something called border style, border width, and border color. Okay. Border style. So the class 2 is here is called as what?
Selector.
Selector. Very good. The border style is called as?
Property.
Okay. And the value, this is called as?
Value.
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 Okay. Now, if I save it, okay. Now I'll tell you the differences of what everything is. Okay. Now imagine we need to give some width to our border. Everything in HTML is in pixels. You remember? So let me give it 1 pixel. Okay. And let me give the color of the border as green. Okay. Let me just save it. And let me just run it. Are you able to see some green color border around this heading?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I'll tell you what is its differences as well, okay? Okay. Now, in order to know what styles we have given, we can just use this selector and we can select this element. Are you able to see the things here? Yes or no?
Yes.
Border style, width, color, you are able to see, right? Suppose we need to
Yes.
put like what kind of border we want. Solid is something like a straight line. Suppose you can see these are the list of values which I can give. Okay. Suppose if I give something called dashed, are you able to see the border has been changed to dash?
Yes.
Suppose if I give dotted, are you able to see? Let me increase the width, then you will able to understand properly. Are you able to see the dots now?
Yes,
Yes
ma'am.
or no?
Yes.
Okay. Now you can see dotted, dashed, double border you can see. Group, hidden means no border at all. Okay. This is how you need to give the border style, and what should be the thickness of your border is defined by border width and the color whatever you want. Okay. Any doubt here? Suppose if you want to give this all of the properties in one line, it is called as shorthand worthy property. Okay, using just border keyword, you can assign all of these words. Okay, let me just do what I'll just comment it. So I can just give something like border. I can say solid 1 pixel. Just give me 5 minutes. Yeah, hi. Sorry. So what I am trying to tell you, you can give all of the three properties using shorthand worthy property. Okay, like 5 pixels, solid, and the color red. Okay, let me just save it. You are still able to see it, right? Are you there? I'm sorry, I was talking on. So are you able to see? Like using shorthand worthy property, instead of giving border style, border width, border color, you can just use the property called border and you can specify all of the things in one line. Understood?
They can be in any order, ma'am.
Let us try. Okay. I don't think so. They can be in any order. They should be in this order only. I guess it will work. Mm, are you able to see?
Yes.
Okay, it will work in any order. Okay. So this is regarding the shorthand worthy property border, but it's always good practice to use this format. First the width, then the style, then the color. Because everywhere in, if you see any application, they'll be followed in this fashion only. Like width, style, and the color. Okay. And this is one thing. And I want to, if I want some space around this HTML content and the border, okay, the space that is called as padding. Okay, so let us give, for example, from the left, from the top, I need some 10 pixels padding. What I can give, I can just give it like padding top 30 pixels. Are you able to see 30 pixels gap inside the border? Okay. And suppose if I want padding from the right, I can just give padding right 40 pixels. Sorry, it's already from the padding right? So I'll give padding from the left 40 pixels. Are you able to see? Suppose if you want some bottom padding, I can give padding bottom 60 pixels. Okay, so if you want to give some space inside the border and around the HTML content, this is known as padding. Okay, and this red color one is called border. And suppose if we want some margin out, if we want some space outside of our border, it is called as a margin. What do we call it as? Margin. If we want some space outside of this border. Okay. For example, let me give margin top 100 pixels. Okay. Now, if you go here and if you see, are you able to see some gap?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Suppose if you want from bottom or from left. Okay. Margin in left 100 pixels. Are you able to see?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is how we will be writing borders, paddings, and margin. So, yeah, so these everything is called as a CSS box model. Okay, what they will ask in the interviews like, what do you mean by a CSS box model? You need to tell like we have some HTML content around the content and inside the border we have some space. That space is called as a padding, and then we have the border, and outside of the border we have some more space that is called as a margin. So these all are represented in the form of boxes to understand. This is known as CSS box model. Okay. Now you can see. Now you'll be able to clearly understand. We have some HTML content, and around the content we have some space. This is called as padding, and around the padding we have border, and around the border we have margin. These are in which format they were represented, in the form of boxes they have shown us, right? So this is known as CSS box model. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and this is one thing. And I want to tell you, ask you about, does any of you know what are forms?
Name,
Hmm? Sorry, what are forms? Have you ever gone to bank and filled some forms? Or even if you want to apply for a Aadhaar card or PAN card, you basically use forms, right? They'll give you forms. In that you will write your details like name, place, age, date of birth, for what purpose you are applying. These all stuff they will be writing, right? Yes or no?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
I don't have that much energy. Please respond, okay?
Okay, ma'am.
So those are nothing but forms. What we are doing, we are just giving some group of information. Yes or no? Suppose if you want to, create one Amazon account. Okay, what do? You will go to the sign up page. Yes or no?
We have a login page.
yes, ma'am.
So what it is asked, your name, mobile number, password, and continue. This is nothing but form. Okay, we are collecting some group of information from the user and sending it to the backend. These group of informations are called as forms. Okay, so to create a form, these are called input boxes. Why the term input? Input means we are given something, right? That is called as an input, right? So I'll give my name as an input. That's why these boxes are called input boxes. Okay, so to create them, we use forms. Okay, and form is the tag which is used for the creation of the forms. Why we are particularly using the term form means this is one input box, correct? This is one input box.
Another.
This is one input box. This collection totally is called as a form. Okay. So for that creation of the form, first what we have, we will create a tag called form tag. Okay. Now we'll come here. What do you see here?
Your name.
So every input boxes should contain some label to understand what value to enter into that input box. Okay. For example, if I simply give input. Okay. Now let me just go here. So will you be understanding what you should give in this input box? What kind of data you need to give in this input box? Do you understand anything by this?
Yes, ma'am.
No.
Our input information.
Yeah, but here you can clearly understand, right? What you need to give.
Yes.
For that indication, we use something called labels. Okay, the label for your input box. Okay, let me just write label. Okay, let me just give name. Okay, and this input box is for what purpose? For name, we are creating this label. Yes or no? So we will
Yes.
create one label. For what we are creating label? For name. Just I'll mention its name. It's always a good coding practice to give this for attribute so that everybody will understand. That's it. Okay. Now you can, I will save it. Now I'll go here. Now, will you understand what to give in this input box right now?
Yes.
Okay. So I can give my
Will-
Anusha. Okay. And you can give the type of this input box also. Suppose if you want to write some text which involves everything in your keyboard, which means numbers, letters, asterisks, dots, column, everything. Then you will give
Text.
type equal to text.
Text.
What is the type of this input box? Text.
Text.
Okay. Now, if you can say, now anything you can enter. Okay, but if you want only numbers to be written in this, then what you can do, you can just change its type to number, which means that it accepts only numbers. Okay, if I am trying to enter, A, B, C, D, it won't work. If I try to enter 1, 2, 3, it will be shown. Are you able to understand?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Now I want you to people tell me, I want to create a one more label for one more input box for age. What should I do?
Label for equals to
Label
age.
Label
for attribute.
for equal to what I said for age.
Age.
Correct. So I'll just give it as age. And what is the name of this input box? Name.
Input type equals to text, ma'am.
Now I will give input type. Age is what? Age
Number.
number. So what
Number.
will you do? Number.
Please
And
name
this
type text.
input box
Name.
name equal to
Number.
age. Okay. And we have one more concept called placeholder. Means it will tell us what data to enter. Suppose if you see here, what is there here?
And first and last name.
First and last.
This is called as a placeholder, like what data to enter. Okay. Suppose your name means I can just simply enter Anusha, right? But what they are asking, first and last name. To for the clear indication. For that, we use something called placeholders. Okay, you can just give placeholder and you can just give enter your age. Okay, let me just save it and let me just reload. Are you able to see a placeholder right now?
Yes.
And you can enter whatever you want in this. Okay. Now, apart from this, we have many other input types as well, which I'll explain while going on. So if you say, I want to give something called password. Okay. So you can see something here, password, right?
Yes.
Suppose if I
That is
enter
6 characters.
anything, is it visible to you?
No.
No.
To achieve this functionality, for this input box, we give input type equal to password. What do we give?
Password.
Let me give type equal to password. Okay. Name equal to password. And placeholder. Okay. Now let me just save it. Are you able to see now? Now, if I try to enter anything, are you able to see?
Yes.
So for this passwords, we give type equal to password. Okay. And apart from this, we have even radio box, we have even check boxes, which I will tell in the next classes. Okay. And we need some validations to be performed. Okay. Like in this name, I don't want to be bigger than 10 characters. My name should be less than. I shouldn't allow the user to enter more than 10 characters. Then what we have one property called max length. Okay. Maximum only 5 characters you can enter into this input box. That is the meaning. Okay. Now let me just give it as type text. Now let me just reload it. You're able to see? You can hear the typing sound, right? But you can see only 5. Yes or no? So these
Yes.
are called as validators. We are just validating our form, giving maximum length as 5. That's it. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. And we have some more properties like minimum length also we can give. But the thing is, this you cannot test it right now to show the error. Okay. When you come to, work in Angular or something, then you will understand like what you are doing. Let me just explain a small W3 schools form. So they actually linked it to PHP. That's why you'll get a link error. So what do you see here? What do you see? Are you able to see a form tag here?
Yes.
Okay. What is there inside this form tag?
Label input type.
Password.
Label is
Submit.
password. Okay.
Yes,
Then
ma'am.
the type is password. What is the validator here that is present?
Yes.
Minimum length 8.
Minimum length should be 8 characters. Suppose if you try to enter characters less than 8, it will give you an error. Okay. You can see one submit button is also here. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Now let me give 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me try to submit. Are you able to see? Please
Please
lengthen
this
this
text
text to 8 characters. Yes or no?
add more.
Okay. So these are the some of the validation I am using. Okay. Suppose we have one more validator called required. Suppose if they are mandatory fields. For example, if I don't give any name or mobile number and I'll just click on continue. Are you getting an error? You are getting
Yes.
errors, right? You are able to see this box is highlighted to red. Yes or no? And what it
Yes.
says, enter your name, enter your mobile number, enter your password, which means that these are the mandatory fields which I need to fill in the form. Yes or no?
Yes.
Which means they are required. Okay. If you give one attribute called required, which means that they are mandatory fields. Okay. And if you don't give anything and try to run it, you'll get a validation error. Are you getting it right now?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So that is the usage of required and minimum length and maximum length. Okay. Suppose
Okay.
if you want to, make your input box only read only, or for example, if I want to give some value to my input box, what I can do, I can just give one attribute called value and its value as Anusha. Are you able to see something? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let me just remove its type as text. Are you able to see now? Now
Yes.
what I want to do, if I want to make this field as a read only, but a user cannot change it. Now, am I able to change it or not? Yes. Whatever the
Yes.
value is there, I am able to, change it. But if I make it as a read only field, nobody can change it. Okay. Now, if you try to even, I am entering, are you able to see anything?
No.
No. Read only means only you can view. Read and write means you
We
can view it as well as you can change it. That is the meaning of read and write. Okay. I can even make this field as disabled. It will be completely grayed out. Okay. Are you able to see?
we cannot change.
We cannot change it. Okay. And you can see its color is turned to gray. In
Yes.
case of
Blur.
read only, it will not be like that.
I
Are
get
you
it.
able to see? Okay. That is the difference between the disabled and read only. Okay. In case of disabled, it will be completely grayed out. In case of, in the neither of these scenarios, you cannot change its value. Okay. And if you want to create one button, you can just give input type equal to submit or type equal to button, or you can use one button tag. Click me. Are you able to see?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. This is how you will be dealing with your forms. Okay. Now tell me, how many input boxes are there here?
4.
Three.
Three. And what is this? This is also an
Button.
input. Type
Button. That
equal
is
to
button.
submit or a button. Okay. So one, and you can see what is its type, mobile type.
Yeah.
Ideally, it should be a number, but they have allowed it text as well. Okay. But you can see your name field and you can see here type as password, and this is some paragraph, that's it. Or let us debug this. Okay. What you can do, you cannot see the entire code. Are you able to see the code here? Yes or
Yes,
no?
ma'am.
Label
Yes, ma'am.
for equal to AP customer name and its value is your name. And you can see type input box. Whenever I'm selecting this, that particular field will get highlighted here. You can see that. Okay.
Yes.
Input, its type is text and maximum length I can enter only 50 characters. Okay. Now if I try to, I don't know whether I can change it. If I give 3 characters, okay, and let me try to enter. Are you able to see? Am I able to enter? No. You
No.
can see something called placeholder here, and you can have the name for this input box, and you can see some classes, right?
Yes.
Classes are used for what purpose?
Styling.
Styling. Very good. You can see one more div inside it. Yes or no? There is
Yes.
one more div. And let us go to this section. So this is one div. You can see it's wrapped inside one more div is there. And you can see one label, right?
Yes.
Okay. And one more div. And one more div. You can see some span tag here.
Yes.
And I'll tell you about what is this select and all. Now let us highlight this button. Now you can see what is this input box?
ID. Continue. ID.
What is this type? What is its type?
Submit button.
Understood?
Button.
But
Understood?
Yes.
Are you able to relate it? Yes or no? And I'll show you one thing. Let me just click some details and let me show you how API calls will happen. Okay. You can see one tab here called as a network. Network tab is basically used, whatever API calls we make, it will be visible here. Okay. Now let me write something and let me write continue. Let me just reduce it. Actually, this is an open thing, right? So you won't get the proper response from the APIs. You will only get the errors.
Yes.
Or let us wait 1 second. So you can see something called register here. You can see HTTPS AP/register, and you are able to see some response right here. There was a problem, invalid email address or phone number. Are you able to see this?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
These are coming from the API. Okay, from the backend itself, we are getting it. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, this is how we will be doing. Whenever we click on it, if all the mandatory fields are filled, then we will be making API calls for the backend. Otherwise, there are something which will be followed in Angular. If the form is invalid, we can stop even the API call making. Okay? Now let us recap what I have told you. Very less I have told today. What is CSS box model?
Length, width,
Box which
width.
have the
Length, width.
inside of the space that is padding, and outside of the border, outside of the
Margin.
space is
Margin.
HTML content and some padding and border and margin. These are all represented in the form of boxes. This is known as CSS box model. Understood?
Yes.
yes.
Okay. And we have even something called as border radius. Suppose, so you can see these corners as straight, right? Yes or no? Suppose if I want to make them as rounded, we have something called border radius. 5 pixels. Are you able to see some rounded borders now?
Yes. Yes.
If I give 50 pixels, are you able to see? To make
Yes.
the border corners as rounded, we use something called border radius. Okay. Suppose if I want to change this text color to green, what property I should use?
Color.
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 Very good. So I can just give something called color green. Are you able to see? And for this even padding top, padding left, bottom, we have something called shorthand worthy property, which is directly padding. But you need to give all the four, and there is specific pattern that has to be followed. Okay. Padding with four values. So see here. If the padding property, what I'm doing, I'm not giving padding top, padding right, padding bottom, padding left. Instead, I want to give all the four things in a single line. Then I can use a property called padding. Okay. And it will take all the four properties in line by line. So the first refers to top padding. This is something which we don't even need to bother about remembering, but the thing is like you can check and you can know what you are applying. Okay, suppose if you give 10 pixels, which means that padding top you are giving as a 10 pixels here. If you give 5 pixels here, padding right you are giving it as a 5 pixels, padding bottom, padding left. So this matters, the order matters. Understood? Whatever you give, that will be in this order. It will first corresponds to top, right, bottom, and left. Suppose if you give only three values, then top is 10 pixels, left and right is 5 pixels, and bottom is 15 pixels. Okay. But if you specify only 10 pixels, two values, 10 and 5, which means that top and bottom are 10 pixels, right and left are 5 pixels. If you give 10 pixels, that means padding from the top, padding from the right, padding from the bottom, padding from the left. Everything is 10 pixels. That is the meaning. Understood? So let me show you one for an example. Let me give. Which means that everything will have padding top, padding bottom, padding left. Everything is 10 pixels. Are you able to see now? From this side, this side, this side, everything will be 10 pixels. That is the meaning. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubts, anyone?
No, ma'am.
Okay. That's it for today's class. We'll continue with tomorrow. Okay. I'm little bit not feeling well. I'm sorry that most of the class today has been delayed. Sorry for that.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.
Me too.
Thanks, ma'am.
Thank you. Bye.